We're looking at the new Lexus IS, and is this really more than a facelift? I mean, come on.
It's been out for a long time, and when we walk through it and compare it specifically with the TLX, we're going to unbox it and see if it's worth your money. Okay, Andrea, what do we have to put it in?
We have to put it in S for subscribe, and if you can hit the notification bell, it really supports the channel, and of course, watch the video.
Yeah, watch the whole thing, twice. And if you want to follow along on Instagram, and in a moment we'll tell you why you need to follow Andrea, it's motormouth_Andrea, and for me, it's motormouth_Otto. This video is brought to you by Car Cost Canada. Get the dealer's cost, list of rebates, plus discounted interest rates. Use the promo code MOTORMOUTH to become an expert member and get extra searches. The link is in the description below. So we posed the question at the beginning, and we're going to unbox it as we go through the review. Is this car just really a facelift? Because it's competing with a brand new model from Acura and the TLX. It is all new, right?
All new engine, new exterior styling, and a new interior.
New transmission too. There are a lot of packages with this. They do offer a lot. So what do you think, first of all, about the way it looks?
They did a nice job with the exterior styling. It's lower to the ground, it's wider, which is similar to the TLX. Acura did the exact same thing. I like the tail lamps in the back, and I think those headlights look really aggressive.
So on size, the wheelbase is the same. So what you're seeing, the extra dimensions, whether it's length, width, or height, are all just bodywork.
That's right.
So they're building it on the same platform. But reading all of the literature that they gave us about this car, they went to great detail about making the platform more rigid and stiffer so that the suspension can do its work. So we'll have to take their word on that, that it's much stiffer than the old model. But Acura, if you read all their literature, the same thing.
You say the wheelbase is the same? Well, the engines and the transmission are exactly the same. It's just been carried over.
What's interesting is the base engine is a 2-liter turbocharged 4-cylinder, and it gets an 8-speed automatic transmission, right?
That's right, and it's only rear-wheel drive.
In the Canadian market. The rest of them that are sold in Canada are all-wheel drive, and they all come with a 3.5-liter 6-cylinder. And the interesting thing is, so the vast majority of people are going to choose the larger engine. They're going to choose the all-wheel drive, but they only get a 6-speed automatic transmission.
I know, and the Acura TLX, you get a 10-speed.
Yeah, and that makes a big difference, eking out the most performance from the engine. So the platform is being modified but carried over. The engines and the transmissions have been carried over with no horsepower gains at all, right?
No power increase. The 2-liter 4-cylinder turbocharged engine, which is just the base engine, gets 241 horsepower and 258 pound-feet of torque.
Now the meat of the market is the IS 300. It gets a 3.5-liter V6 with the 6-speed automatic, as we mentioned, 260 horsepower and 236 pound-feet of torque.
Yes, and then the 350 has the 3.5-liter V6 engine, same 6-speed automatic transmission. It gets 311 horsepower and 280 pound-feet of torque.
And then you've got all of these F Sports, right? Like F Sport is there, for the most part, it's cosmetic. The only one that really gets a mechanical change is the top trim.
That's right. That's the one we're driving right now. It has the dynamic handling package with 19-inch wheels.
And you get an adaptive suspension. So the one thing about that dynamic handling package, you get the largest wheel, which is 19 inches, plus it's an ultra lightweight wheel, which will make the car feel the most dynamic. And that's one of the things when they give us these cars, they give us the top trim with the lightweight wheels. So we're not here to tell you how the base car feels. Unfortunately, this is what we've got.
That's right.
And there's lots of competition. So let's have a look at that now.
For your consideration, 4 categories and 4 vehicles for you to consider.
Our first category is main competitor, and we picked the Acura TLX. It has 272 horsepower and starts at $44,000.
The next category is Best Overall Infotainment System, and we chose the BMW 3 Series, or basically the iDrive system. The 3 Series starts at $49,350, and the base engine is 255 horsepower.
Our third category is Best Value, and we picked the Genesis G70. It has 252 horsepower and comes in at $43,000.
And the green alternative, pretty obvious, is the Tesla Model 3, and it starts at $51,600. So there are 4 vehicles for your consideration. So we mentioned the key competitor is the TLX, right?
Yes.
And I think that it has a lot more standard equipment, and we're going to get into the comparisons now. So what do you get in this, and then what do you get in the TLX?
So one thing about the TLX that I really like is that it has a 10.2-inch infotainment screen that's standard across all trims. It also gets the power moonroof. This does not. The base model comes with the 8-inch infotainment screen, and it does not get this moonroof. You actually have to go up to the premium package, which is only $400 more than the base model, and that's almost going to be a $44,000 price tag.
So where do you get the larger screen that we have here?
The larger screen you get in the luxury package.
That's a lot more expensive.
That's a lot more expensive. That's going to cost you almost $48,000. So there's a big jump. And I actually really think that this screen is probably the best part about this interior. I don't really think this interior has any standout features to me. And I can't imagine only having an 8-inch screen in here where the TLX has a 10.2.
Well, the thing is that it really is feeling kind of warmed over, isn't it?
Kind of.
And, you know, they do have nice materials in here. Like, once again, we're in the top trim, so it's nicely put together. But the trackpad, now let's talk about the trackpad differences between the TLX and this, because I think that this is better than the TLX.
This is better, but it's not great.
No.
It's still glitchy and sensitive, but I won't use the trackpad. I'll just use the touch screen. It's super easy to use, very intuitive.
But there is a new package. It's an ultra luxury package. What do you get in that?
So you get the 17 speaker sound system.
Mark Levinson sound system.
That's
which
right.
is fantastic, by the way.
And you don't get a whole lot more than that.
Take my money.
I also like that 19-inch wheels are available on these trims. Not all of them, but at least you can get them.
19 inches in 2021 isn't that big.
It's not, but it's better than 18.
Yeah, 1 inch is bigger. All right, it's time for a coffee break.
Time now for questions, coffee, and cars.
Your questions from Instagram.
Is that bulge still there in the... I don't know if I can keep this together now that I realize what we're saying. Is that bulge there? Is that... Okay, hold on. Is that bulge still there in the lower part of the console? Is that bulge still there in the lower part of the console that hits the right leg? Is that bulge still there in the lower part of the console that hits the right leg? Yes, it is. It didn't bother me so much. I'm in heels, but it was okay. What did you think?
Yeah, so that's for the transmission that comes into the driver's compartment. I didn't really notice it until someone mentioned it.
Yeah.
But actually, now that it's there, it's actually, I can rest my leg on it on a long trip.
Yeah.
It wouldn't be bad. Maybe it gets hot. I don't know. But yeah, it's still there. The bulge
It's
is
still there. Bulge is there. Is Lexus planning on putting a turbo in their engines? Well, the base model has a turbocharged engine, but I think you're thinking of like a real turbo engine.
No, it's carried over engines.
But maybe one day. Is there a noticeable improvement in driving performance over the previous one, considering upgrading from my 2016 IS 300 F Sport?
Engines, no. But with the chassis, they stiffened it, and you really are going to notice the handling and the steering feel. They got rid of anywhere from 17 to 20% of the unsprung weight from the different components, whether it's the springs, the control arms, and the wheels, so you will notice that.
Is all-wheel drive available in the F Sport trim? Yes, all-wheel drive is available on every trim except for the base model.
In Canada, because in the Sunshine States,
Yeah.
Florida, Arizona, California, who cares? Just rear-wheel drive. There you go. If you want to get your questions through, bulges or otherwise, you need to follow Andrea at motormouth_Andrea. She poses a question each and every week. And there you go. Thank you, Andrea. Good job. And now it's time for Nightlife. Okay, Andrea, what are the key standard features?
Lexus Safety Sense 2.5, 8-inch infotainment screen, Apple Carplay and Android Auto, leather-wrapped steering wheel and shifter, heated front seats, faux leather seats, dual-zone auto climate control, smart key system plus push-button start, blind spot monitor plus rear cross-traffic alert, and 18-inch wheels.
So that's all on the rear-wheel drive turbo 4-cylinder. Then you add up lots of, as Andrea mentioned, tons of different packages. But I want to talk a little bit about, the feeling and the difference between the old one and this one.
Yeah.
So the biggest change, if you were to ask me, what do you think of the new Lexus IS? For me, it would be handling.
Right.
So this has a new, stiffer platform, much lighter unsprung weight for all of the components, 17 to 20% lighter, and they really worked on the suspension. They feel that they've dialed in a nice balance of luxury, premiumness, and also better handling, and I would say mission accomplished.
I agree. Coming off of just reviewing the TLX, which I thought the performance was excellent, I enjoyed the handling. I actually think this one handles a bit better.
Yeah.
I feel like it's lower to the ground. I feel like I'm in this little cockpit.
The seats definitely go a long way to that,
Yeah.
right? Now, the one thing you noticed about the TLX was the horrible turning radius.
Yes, this one is excellent. No problem at all in that department.
But Lexus almost can't help themselves. Whenever they make a performance sporty kind of car, it still has to be, like I call it, the velvet hammer.
Yeah.
It's like still so smooth.
Yes.
And all of that smooth Lexus premium feel is still here. It's just a little bit more responsive and it feels lighter on its feet. That's probably the best way to describe it. It feels more nimble.
It's a great daily driver, isn't
Yeah,
it?
beautiful car to drive every day. All right, now let's get into the price of this thing, with the price pause.
The IS300 base model starts at $42,950. The IS300 all-wheel drive starts at $43,400, and depending on what trim level you get, goes up to $51,000. The IS350 Sport 2 starts at $53,300 and goes up to $58,000 with the Sport 3 trim.
And that's the one we're driving here today. All right, fuel economy. I'm guessing with the 10-speed automatic and the TLX, it's probably going to get better fuel economy.
It does get a little bit better for sure, but it's nothing, to write home about compared to the two of them. The fuel economy for all-wheel drive for the 300 and the 350 is 12.2 liters per 100 kilometers in the city and 9 on the highway.
So what does the TLX get?
It gets 11.2 and 8.
Okay, so marginally better. And that's one of the problems with carried over technology. So here's the question, and this is what a lot of people are going to be debating. Do you want the newest and the latest technology, look, interior, engines and transmissions with the TLX? Or are you going to stick with Old Faithful, and Lexus is kind of like Old Faithful, amazing resale value, amazing repair record, and a carried over technology? Which one is going to light your fire?
Well, this is it. This one is going to go forever.
Yeah, you maintain it, it will run indefinitely.
Yeah.
Now, not to say the Acura won't, but that's what you're buying when you buy a Lexus.
That's right. And overall, it is a good vehicle.
Yeah.
It just doesn't have a standout interior that I was kind of hoping for or expecting.
And one other feature that I think they could have addressed is they could have made this car a little bit bigger. The back seat is not that big.
No.
And many other cars, when they make a new one, they make it a little bit bigger, offer a little bit more space. There's plenty of room in the trunk, but it's not the biggest car in this class. And I'm just not sure this is enough. That's the big question.
Yeah. Well, you tell us, is this enough?
Yeah, let us know.
I don't think a whole lot has changed with this new Lexus, but there's two things that stand out for me. It's the performance and this exterior styling.
For me, it's the handling. I think that's the biggest change. But is it enough to get people excited and to draw them away, say, from Acura? I don't know. I just don't think so. The market is going to tell us. This video is brought to you by Car Cost Canada. Get the dealer's cost, list of rebates, plus discounted interest rates. Use the promo code MOTORMOUTH to become an expert member and get extra searches. The link is in the description below.